Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Hi, good morning, all.
Nice to have you here. I'm just going to open up today, the third day of HIPTHER Festival in 2021. I don't know if you remember last autumn, I told you that in 2021 we will still be doing these online conferences, so we're still here, and most probably next year are going to be here as well. This Picante Marketing Summit brings me back memories because last year it was the first time we tested out Wire Up and the new platform for streaming, and everything crashed, I think, in the first 20 minutes. So this year we already have the experience of doing 20 conferences online, so it's all good. Before we kickstart the first panel discussion, I would like to play a video which I was shown this morning about the situation in which we still are in. Just let me share my screen. Okay, here we go.
Over your nose. I need you to put your mask up over your nose. Sir, I'm gonna need you to put your mask on.
Yeah, but I'm still eating.
Okay, when you're done eating, please put your mask back on. Sir, if you're done eating...
Yeah, but I'm still eating.
Okay, when you're done eating, please put your mask back on. Sir, it is time for you to put your mask on.
It's actually time for shawarma. I'm still eating.
Sir, when you're done, I need you to put your mask on. Thank you. Sir, what is going on here?
Time for sake!
Hey, woo! Sir, I need you to put your mask on.
Yeah! Oh, it's hibachi. I'm still eating.
Sir, I need...
Open up!
Do not put
Let's try
that.
again!
Sir, I need you to go back here.
Oh, what's behind your ear?
Sir, you cannot be doing that.
We have now landed. You may remove your masks.
Excuse me, sir. You're gonna need a mask.
Yeah, but I'm eating.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, you need a mask on.
Yeah, but I'm eating.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you need a mask in here.
Yeah, but I'm eating.
There's no food in here either.
It's a protein smoothie.
Oh, it's a protein shake. Okay, never mind. You're good.
So that's adapting to current times. Okay, so I will not steal away any of your time, Vasco. I will leave you to it, and it's nice to see you all once again. See you later.
Thank you.
Oh, Vasco, you can start now.
Oh, sorry. I'm still baffled by the video, I'm still digesting all the things that I saw. So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to this first panel of the day. Allow me to thank Zoltan and his amazing team, first for trusting me as an early bird. This is a first, so I guess I'm earning some more extra points, and I'm actually thrilled to be here. And thank you, Zoltan, for all the things that he's been doing and how he adapted to the current situation and everything. Today we will be talking about a very interesting topic, and I have a very, very I have one of the most amazing group of talented people that I've ever had in any panel. And as always, Zoltan always gives me the best. Thank you guys for being here with me and for accepting me as your moderator. I will be doing the presentations, though I'm pretty sure that no one really needs presentations here, as everyone knows you guys. You are all rock stars of this industry. But I'll do the presentations anyway. We have with us Martina Filipovic. She's the product owner of Become Systems.
Icon Systems.
Thank you for being here with us. With us. Yes.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. We have with us Christina Rowe, the recruitment specialist and team manager of Smart Recruitments. Welcome,
Thank
Christina.
you.
I cannot see you, but I think you are here. I hope so.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for being with us. We have with us the lovely, and she's just a star, Maria Arnidu from Fantasy Sport Interactive. How are you, Maria? Welcome back.
Thank
she's
you,
the head
Vasco.
of marketing, and she's amazing. And if you don't know her, you should. So welcome.
It's great to see you all again. Thank you for having me here too.
Thank you. And last but not least, he does look as well as a rock star. So Martin Calvert, the marketing director of ICS Digital. So there's everything in place to have a great conversation. Thank you very much. And honestly, guys, thank you for accepting me as your moderator. It's really a pleasure. And not only for having you and then for giving me this amazing topic, because I think there's so much we can say about this and so many angles that we can approach this. Allow me to apologize as well for my nasal voice. I have this cold. I'm heavily medicated, so I wouldn't show too much of my cold. But so if you feel like I'm sneezing or something, sorry for that. But I'll do my best not to interrupt you while you are talking. And so let's start with this topic. We're going to talk about marketing in an era of remote working. That's the main topic. And when Zoltan suggested this to me, I thought about a lot of angles that we could actually approach this topic, and we can actually talk about it, because it's something that it's a reality. A lot of companies were already working remotely. I've worked with several companies, app developers, software developers that were already working worldwide with teams remotely working from everywhere. But this became something that this was hit in the face in some companies, that they did have to acknowledge the existence of remote working and the impact and everything that comes with working remotely. And the first thing that popped to my mind, I think the first topic that I would like to bring to the table, it's how can we maintain the motivation and how can we maintain a collaborative culture when you are working remotely. And Christina was kind enough to forward me a concept that is quite interesting. And I did knew it, but I didn't know it in depth. So I was really interested of digging into, which is the Great Resignation. She will be explaining this much better than I will, but it's quite interesting to this concept of the Great Resignation. The millennials are dropping their jobs, and what can we do to retain talent? What can we do to retain people and to keep them motivated and to keep this collaborative culture? And Christina, I don't know if you want to talk about this, because this is such an interesting concept, this Great Resignation.
Yeah, sure. Also, thank you for having me. It's a really honor to be a part of this panel. So back to your point, the Great Resignation. This was a very interesting topic for me because it's a trend that we're not only seeing in America, where I'm from originally, but now it's trickling vastly into Europe, especially Germany, and then also slowly into Asia, where I'm actually located right now, currently. So basically, it's a phenomenon we're seeing in which vast amount of the workforce are leaving their jobs due to shift in values because of the pandemic. So now we're focusing more on like COVID-related resignations. People are valuing their work-life balance more. They're valuing their employment and their employer. They want to feel valued, and they're just valuing their quality of life more. So yeah, that is basically the Great Resignation that we're seeing.
Yeah. One of the things that it's interesting, and I think all you guys can collaborate here actually. what do we do to prevent this, and how can we keep that motivation? Because the thing is, if you have everyone in one office, and I think this goes back to another point that I have, like company culture. We had recently the CEO of Farfetch saying, I cannot keep a company culture if I'm working remotely. And then we have other people like the Gravity Payment CEO saying, no, you can't keep that as long as you keep your employees motivated, as long as you give them the feeling that I do belong to a company, they do belong to a family. How can we do this? How can we keep this while working from home?
Right. So I feel like companies really have to embrace this shift. For example, one of my largest iGaming clients in Asia right now at smartrecruitment.com has strategically implemented a hybrid working model. This is not new. A lot of companies, almost half in a study by Mercer worldwide, has been adopting hybrid model, which is half or either you work from home or you work in office. So this is a very crucial, I guess, step in retaining your employees and providing another way for them to work. And I think it's really important right now. And it has allowed this specific client to really gain an advantage over the talent pool and retaining their employees currently as well.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have also something to add. I don't know, Martin, for instance, or Maria, since you work on different environments. For instance, how do you guys tackle this? And if you have felt this or the need to change something in order to keep this motivation.
Well, if I may jump in, because back in early 2020, before actually we had the major lockdowns here in Greece as well, where FSI is housed, the branch. I signed up for managing the HR department as well, because I had noticed a gap and a problem in internal communications, where this is the standard part of actually promoting a company culture and maintaining contact. I mean, besides the fact that right now we do need to be able to adopt a hybrid working model. And of course, everything Christina said is very true, because now not only we have realized the value of the balance, the work-life balance, after we have lived through the remote work model, we are already, FSI is for about a year now, we have been working from home. So apart from that, first of all, you need to have company values, to be very solid and true to your values, and to what does your employee mean to you? What does your team mean to you? They're much more than just workforce. We are much more than just workforce, and we need to practically show that in actions every day by keeping all channels open, and this includes both internal processes, but also genuine communication between people, between departments. And that perhaps has become harder with the remote working factor, but we do have nowadays the tools and the software to be able to balance that out. And by utilizing those channels, we can keep in touch and share both, be able to share our work cycle and collaborate, but also personal moments that matter, and have, dedicated events, or even what we do now that, post vaccinations, and now that the measures are more laxed, we also have monthly gatherings, somewhere out to eat perhaps, and activities like that. So it is a mixture, I think, of both your fundamentals, the internal communications, and your values, and how you implement them daily, and the mix, the remote and at office mix, depending on the company and the place in the world where you are, and of course what your people want.
Yeah, it's some valid points. And in order to keep the motivation of our viewers, because I forgot to do it, I would like to say hello to all our viewers in Neo's virtual reality. And I do care about you as well. So please remain with us. So we want to retain you in this presentation. So there goes my hello to all the viewers in Neo's virtual reality. So I don't forget.
Vasco, if I may jump in on this topic too, I would like to add to my 2 cents. First of all, Martin, very cool name. So basically, Bicon Systems is a company that has offices not only in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but in UK and Canada as well. So you can assume what effort we have put in remaining our company culture and company connections during the pandemic. And we have worked thoroughly on this. First, what I would like to emphasize is the concept of HR within our company. We have an acronym for CARE teams. That's teams that are culture teams, administration team, recruitment team, and employer branding. And each of those teams focuses separately on a certain pillars that emphasize the Bicon values and focus on R as the Bicomers. I would like now to brag a little bit because we in Bicon have a very low very high retention rate. Very little people leave the company, and that only shows more how great we have set the stones regarding the culture. Of course, when it comes to the great resignation and how to retain employees, that's always the golden question. And our culture department works very, very high on that topic because we want to build trust. We want to give trust to our employees. We want to allow autonomy within the departments. And as a great example that we do, I would like to say that Maria has stated it, that they enable gatherings and everything. And for example, we have created a Be Agile Week. That's the last week of the Scrum cycle within the company, where all the departments gather and share their achievements during the sprint. So everyone has a chance to see what the other part has been doing. And besides all of that, we as a communications provider, we have our own tool, communication tool, that keeps all of us together. So we are available 24/7 for each other. And since we have offices in Canada as well, so we know how to maintain the time difference. So we have overlapping working hours during the day. So a lot of aspects, a lot of effort, but at the end, it's really worth it.
You touched in I think we can wrap this up. You wrap this up the whole panel. Yes, that's all the points that I was going to ask about. It's cool. It's cool. It's really it's good to have that perspective, because that's it's interesting and it's a real thing. We're talking about real cases that you guys are implementing. I don't know, Martin, if you want to share your in your case in terms of the agency, how do you experience this? Yeah. And there's a thing here. I'm sorry for throwing this one to you in terms of this trust environment, because I know one of the things that I realized when I talk about it to a lot of companies is that they are not resistant to allow remote working per se. They are resistant to the idea of trust. That's how I feel it. I feel that the key word here is, I'm a SEO manager, so I'm always about keywords. It's the key word here is actually trust. I don't know, Martin, if you want to add something on this.
Yeah, I think the companies that find that the most difficult are the ones that always had a problem, but maybe they didn't realize it before. Yeah. Because if you can't really rely on people when they're working remotely, then did you really know what they were doing in the office? You know, that if the output of their work isn't clear, if the communication isn't clear, you don't know what people are doing, when they're doing it, why they're doing it, then that's a more substantial problem. It's not about where they work, it's about how you relate to your teams and how you support them to do what they need to do. I think the trust factor is really important, and I think we can divide it between, the kind of value side of things, which is kind of more kind of high level, more kind of, mission led, I guess, that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of this comes down to the more practical, everyday level, where just in working life, you expect a certain amount of stuff you just have to deal with, like, well, in 2 years ago, it would be commuting. Nobody would love commuting necessarily, but you think, okay, this is just something I have to do. Yeah. And now that the normal has shifted and people are aware of different ways of working and different possibilities, that then does lead to this kind of great resignation where, the people that are able to provide hybrid or alternative ways of working they all benefit in the short term at the very least. So it's not necessarily about the high level mission values. It's what makes my day less painful, even in a small way. And things like gathering, things like food and drink, and being able to connect with people. I think that means a lot to people, even if it's not like a world-class mission. But that kind of thing does create trust, that two-way trust, because you're giving them parts of their life back. And one of the ways that we've done it at ICS is to, well, I guess in two ways. So we've implemented working abroad for a certain number of days per year that can be picked apart and flexibly booked in. So we work in like you guys, Vasco, we work in about 80 languages. So that's really nice for our multilingual teams to be able to work remotely abroad. But we also, again, want to keep, some face-to-face interaction where possible. And that's especially important for newer team members. So for example, one of the policies we've got is, although we have flexible working in the office, and in most cases, that means you have to come in like 1 day a week just to touch base. For new starters and their managers, they have to be in the office for at least a fortnight, every day, both of them, so that they are being brought into the company in the right way. They're not just kind of left at home with a laptop, not really getting that human connection. So it's kind of a combination. We want people to feel secure and supported and, have that face-to-face trust, but then also be able to then enjoy the full benefits of hybrid working remotely, going abroad, and all this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I think you've touched in at least 2 points. We would always be in agreement because of working the same for the same type of company, and I think that's super true. The first things first is that I do feel that a lot of these companies are struggling only now with some of these subjects, because only now they're being faced with them, because this was actually a problem before. They just didn't see it, and this trust relationship that companies have with that we all have with the companies. I mean, we're all people at the end of the day, so it's all about trust, and it's all about processes, how we work and how we trust. And to me, at least the way I see it, is that we come to a point in which you need results, and you need to show the work that is done, and to keep the clients happy. And that's all that should matter. And it's not about control, and not about controlling systems. And that's one of the things that I actually believe that this is all about. Something else that I'm really interested in this case, probably more related to how the process of working, and it does change. It's one thing to have everyone in an office, and even the creative process, even the creative of creating a product or coming up with a pipeline. I know that it's if you are in front of a team in an office with a whiteboard, you can actually scrub it much better, or try to have this pipeline much better lined out, and talk to people, and have this back and forth process of creating something new or something like that. And the fact that we are working remotely does pose some challenges, and we do have to face some challenges that if we did not have it before, we will have it now, because we are not together face to face. And though, of course, Martin said, and very rightfully so, I don't think we need to be black or white, and it's either we go completely remote or we go completely office. There's hybrid systems. There are systems that you can be home, but you can meet with people in the office for certain meetings or for certain circumstances. But for the sake of this argument, when we have this creative or this development process that we have going through video conferences, so we're not together with the team right there, do you guys experience there are that you are able to take advantage of the digital tools that exist to promote this collaborative environment, to promote this collaborative creative process and creation process? How do you experience this? And in terms of the channels that you use for communication, for these collaborative platforms, if you can explore a little bit more. Maybe I'll start with Martina, just because you're probably the obvious choice here to start. How can we do this? Okay, there's a product to be developed, there's something creative to be developed, but we are not together in the same room. So how can we do that?
As I'm a product owner / team lead for product marketing team, and all of my team members are in different cities than I am. So from day one, we have been working remotely, but we encourage and try to have our dailies with our cameras on. That's the first thing, to feel like we're all here and engaging, and just to see facial expressions that means a lot. And the other thing, we encourage a lot communication, idea changing, and also we use our tool, our Glockum application for communication and video conferencing, but we also use several other tools that help us with brainstorming processes, where we can all in different time edit, comment, share our ideas. But the biggest issue from my point of view is organizing and coordinating teams in different time zones. So that's where the real effort comes in. And we do it at the moment without any problems, because as I have stated, we have a team in Canada and in UK as well. And my team works a lot with the team in Canada. So we use that overlapping period during the day where we communicate and enhance our ideas. But video conferencing and real-time conversations, from my experience, result with better immediate feedback. But for the things where we need to think about on ourselves before we can show our opinion or something like that, sometimes it can be done offline or in an editing mode. The other thing that I would like to emphasize here, I would take a step back on the previous topic, but it can be connected with this one, of course, is that trust issue, because even my team members are all dislocated, so we are all in different cities, but never has there been a situation where we have failed each other, because we deliver, and at the end of the period, the results, the deliverables are here. So there is no like daily pinging, what have you done, what are you doing now? Okay, it's all freely. You have your tasks, we have our vision, we are achieving that vision together. But what is often emphasized by our culture manager is precisely that psychological safety, where we encourage two-way communication, where everyone can speak their mind freely without having the fear of being either penalized or something like that. So back to basics, even with all these tools, if the people who use tools don't use them on the best way possible for the best reason, the tool itself means nothing. Bicon Systems has a great tool. Our clients use it, we use it, but at the end of the day, it's the people who use the tools who are the great people.
Yeah, and how they can manage and to use it to their advantage. I don't know if anyone else wants to add more examples of this.
I would just like to say that it's all about what Martina said about organization, about organizing everything. Because yes, we do have the tools. Personally, at some point, it seemed kind of scary how smooth the transition has been, because I was expecting that, it would be hard. We need to be together in order to go through the creative process, as you said. But if you use your tools effectively, and even the video conferencing, it doesn't have to be the whole process, an endless video conference. There will be stages, there will be alone work, and then collaborative work, and showing the results, signing off the stages, and moving forward. And as long as you organize those stages efficiently, and as Martina said, trust each other, and everyone feels safe to express their opinions, because first of all, this is essential to brainstorming and to the progress of any sort of creative or development process, then things can move along quite smoothly. And of course, yes, you no longer have this immediate social factors. You can get your cup of coffee or your juice at the office and just go to the meeting room and brainstorm live. You don't have that, but you can have that, as Martin previously mentioned, and use the office as a hub in a hybrid mode.
I think.
Yeah. So yes,
Martin, go for it, Rick. Okay. Well, I think for me, to be slightly negative for a second, it's my specialty. I think like over the past couple of years, I've definitely learned which platforms I like, which platforms I like less, and how important it was for me personally, and I think for other people, to kind of limit the number of platforms. So that's not always easy, because we work with like lots of different clients in gaming, but also in other industries. And they've all got their own preferences about how they like to communicate, if it's Skype or Slack or Trello or something else. And it got to the point, I think, last year where I kind of could recognize about a dozen different messaging platforms by the alert noise. And I thought, that's not healthy. That's really not good. So I've deliberately tried personally to kind of steer people towards a couple of platforms, because that makes life more manageable for me. I mean, I'm not going, fix this one, kind of sign into this one, it makes things a bit more streamlined for me. And clients generally don't seem to care. They're like, yeah, cool, whatever. So rather than trying to do every messaging platform or every collaboration platform, I try and push things towards a certain few to make life easier. And I think one of the most underrated ones actually is email, because we've got immediacy of communication through lots of things. We've got lots of co-working, collaboration kind of platforms, but sometimes you just need a really good paper trail where everybody's in the loop. And if you're at this point where somebody else needs to come into things, it's easier for them to catch up with that than it is for them to scroll through chat, which might include little bits of bullshit, chit chat around, Squid Game or whatever. A nice email sometimes does the job. So I think it's worth looking at even some of the less trendy platforms.
Yeah, and I think you keep the track record as well, which is also important. I think Zoltan just typing on the chat something it's actually important. I mean, I think we should all start thinking about this not as something temporary, but as something that it's here to stay. So it's sort of adapt and survive, and that's what we need to do. And I think that's key to understand. Though, and again, I think, I'm not saying which one is the best. I mean, you open LinkedIn and you get flooded by this new poll system that I now hate. That everyone is making polls about what's the best system. How can we? Is it work? Is it remote? I mean, it's all about situation. In my opinion, it's all about company. Some situations require that you are together in an office. Some situations require that you can be at home. So I really don't see that there's a deal breaker on any of this. As long as you respect the flow, and as long as you understand that. The team and how it works. One of the things that was mentioned here, that was actually one of the topics that I was going to bring up to the table. It's this concept that while I was researching a little bit about this, it's this round the clock work, meaning that you can have AM, PM teams. The fact that you can actually have teams around the world, the fact that you have cross-border multidisciplinary teams around the world actually allows you to have, without exploring anyone obviously, but allows you to be, let's say, online or available for a longer period of time, and being able to deliver for a longer period of time, because you can have multiple teams in multiple places. And I think the fact that you can work remotely does help this, and does give you more options and more possibilities to explore to actually improve your service. I don't know if you guys feel this, if this is something you would like to talk about as well.
I wanted to add something to that.
Yep.
So here at Smart Recruitment, we actually have so many people from Malta to Malaga to Thailand to Philippines to Korea to me here in Taiwan. That was already like a handful to say. So basically we have people at all time zones. And I think that this definitely helps the round the clock workflow, because maybe if I want to send something in a certain time, then I know that my teammate will be able to get at it at a certain time. So when I can sleep overnight, then I can get to, whatever their answer is the next morning. So I really feel like that's helpful. In addition to that, I feel like I'm never really alone. Like somebody will always be on my Slack channel, my Skype channel, my email, whatnot. So I think that does help with that camaraderie as well.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know if any of you guys feel this, and the fact that that this is a broader concept, but that you go to sleep, but there's someone else working on those projects because someone else on the other side of the world is writing. And for us, Martin, for instance, someone else is writing content was somewhere else in the world and keeping up. And in the morning, you're going to have it in your email.
For sure, and that's definitely something. It's always been a part of what we do, because for those that don't know, Vasco and I work at quite similar companies in terms of the scale of what we do and multilingual stuff. So we've got, I imagine, some similar experience in that. So that's always been part of what I guess both of our companies have done. We've always had remote team members and other people we draw upon worldwide for multilingual projects. So that made it an easier adaptation for us, I guess, into the COVID era. But Yeah, I think you're right. It's nice knowing that, things are still happening. And I think clients find that reassuring as well, that, things are moving, and that's good. And that's one where I think that where the remote working also has helped us, even just like home working, even if you're just a couple of miles from the office, it's opened things up where people are happier to say, right, I'm going to work from 7 till 3 today. And it's no big deal because I'm going to get up at that time anyway. I'm going to sit here with my coffee and a nice breakfast and we'll get on to do stuff. But for the client, what that means is they're available at 7 a.m. And then we've got other people on the other side of things, often myself, because I'm a night owl person, who will either be remote or in many cases now, people are in the office. We're getting like good food delivery and people are choosing to sit in the office around a table with a bunch of their colleagues, have a chat, but then they're in there till 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And that's what suits them as well. And they get the free food. So it's like a win-win. So like, it's good to have as much coverage as we can for ourselves, for clients. But then I think also it's interesting what suits different people. There's no one size fits all. Some people need human contact and need to be around people. Other people just have their to-do list and they want to be in their own environment and just drill through things. And the more companies can accommodate that, the better. And the more attractive they will be to a greater pool of diverse talent who have different mindsets on things. And that's kind of where you need to be when what is considered normal changes again, because it probably will. Maybe not in a big way like COVID, but things will continue to evolve. There's always going to be a battle to get the best people. But having an eye on the future helps with that as well, I think.
Yeah, that actually links to the next point that I was going to bring to the table. Probably first to Christina, she will be probably the best one to start with this, which is there's also another challenge here. I've seen it, and I think we've all seen it. It's the fact that right now we can do like a recruitment without borders. That's how I called it. And this, in one hand, does allow you to have a much bigger talent pool that you can actually, it's not like you're going to apply for a job that it's going to be in the UK, it's going to be in London, it's going to be from 9 to 6 or something like this. No, you have like this huge pool of talent, but at the same time, you have the other side of the coin. You have a huge pool of competition because all these companies now became your recruitment competitors because everyone will be looking for the same thing. And since there's no borders, this guy can work from wherever he wants. I don't know, Christine, if you feel this and if this is more a challenge for even for recruitment process.
Yeah, it's definitely a two-edged sword. Speaking specifically on the iGaming industry, we've seen this industry almost make triple the income it did in 2019. So what this means is explosive growth, which in tandem means a lot more opportunity, especially for companies like mine, Smart Recruitment, to hire for a wide array of roles, to get new clients who are hiring new roles, etc. And also like increased normalization towards esports, towards iGaming in general. I'm just getting all these positions that are very exciting to work on. So you're right, like traditionally, iGaming is specifically always seen a higher demand for talent than supply. So, but what we're seeing now, I think, because of Recruitment Without Borders, is this ability to work with our clients and for them to be a little bit flexible. So what I've personally seen are more of my clients be open to hiring people with not a traditional iGaming background, which means that this brings in new talent, new opportunity for a new wave of people to take advantage of this iGaming industry, and then also to increase our talent pool. But like you said, this does also pose a challenge as well, because even with the increased talent now, people do have more specific criteria to meet because they've gone through this pandemic. So thus, I believe candidate experience and employer branding is very important in marketing in an era of remote work. For example, you have to remember that candidates' word of mouth is very key. So I really try to stress to my clients, like, remember to give timely interview feedback and always to make a good impression. Things like that is really important now.
Yeah, I've seen that one of the tools that people use. I don't know if I should be using names of companies, but I will for once. I think Zoltan won't kill me. If you go to things like Glassdoor or stuff like that, and you get reviews for every single thing that happens in a recruitment process, how they treated you, how it was. Even if you didn't, if you weren't hired, you will see how the company is rated, how they are. I mean, how they give some feedback. Does this, and maybe this question is overall for you all, does this, when you're trying to look for some new talent, gives you extra stress to, okay, let's, now that the pool is so big, that we have such a big market, but there's also a lot of tools to measure how we are actually recruiting. Is this an extra fact of stress? I mean, not stress, but okay, let's give timely feedback. Is this a reality for you guys?
I believe that it all speaks for the company's culture. If you build a culture consistently throughout the years, living the value you present, you have no fear of encountering such information somewhere, because you know what you have within your company. And that's why, from my point of view, the most important thing is to treat your employees like you treat yourself. Be kind, engage communication, build trust, be open about either problems or good things. And as Christina has stated, there is no better point of value than the person who has either worked in the company and says only the best, or the people who are still there and saying the best. And one thing I would like to emphasize here too is the junior versus senior roles, because juniors often look for some other tips and tricks, so to say, or perks, but seniors, we have a different value set that we look for in a company. So that can also be, from the employer branding perspective, tricky to point out and to advertise.
Yeah, and there's another poll that you have on LinkedIn, which is should you reveal the values of the offer or not? Should you reveal the? I'm sorry, I'm hitting on the polls because I'm super tired of polls in LinkedIn, because I get flooded with polls every single day. So,
if I may add something, Bhaskar, on
yes,
that previous subject about the measuring tools and the reviews and all that,
yeah.
I think that there's such a burst and the surge on these tools and the mobility in there, because we, and I will put all of ourselves as well as a workforce and as people working for companies, we have faced some ugly situations throughout our careers and the years that we have worked out there. So personally, and as a company also, we are very glad to see, this evolution, because it is an evolution, and it's actually rewarding when you actually do things the right way and send the feedback, always send the feedback on a negative response to the candidates, and also make time for them and have the right amount of interviews and not calling people over and over again. And we have examples of even rejections with negative feedback, specialized negative feedback, encouraging negative feedback, where we got very positive reviews and very positive response from that. So it's rewarding because you're actually creating connections too.
Yeah, and it's true that it's like when we review a product, we if we are satisfied, we very rarely go there and review. If we are not satisfied, that's the first thing we do. We go there and give a negative review. So we all know that we need a pinch of salt when analyzing these things.
I think, like Martina and Maria said, it's like that golden rule, treat other people like you'd like to be treated. I think a lot of it comes down to respect. So as Maria said, respect for their time. Don't do artificially extended interview processes or give multiple hoops that aren't necessary. However, if there are hoops that are necessary because you want a really specific, technically advanced candidate, communicate that to them. And if they understand the rationale, they'll probably be cool with it or make their own decision to go somewhere, another path. But at least they won't be feeling negatively towards you. So that's one of the important things is respect. I think for us, one of the major benefits we've had is we've got devoted staff internally who work on HR and who work on learning and development. We've got, someone whose entire job is as learning development coordinator. So that helps a lot to kind of make sure that we are managing recruitment in a sustainable way, in a respectful way, because we recruit a lot because we're quite a big organization, so we recruit often. But we want to make sure we're not just treating people like numbers or like somebody to fill a requirement. Everyone is, an individual personality that has to be treated the right way. So we've got the people internally to do that. I think another benefit we've got as part of that process is that we've got, I'd say, a pretty generous incentive scheme for staff to refer people. It's like over £1,000, I believe. So if they recommend somebody and then they become part of the team, even at a really, really junior level, they get a bit of money. But I think what that also helps create is a system or a process where those people who are brought in to the interview process by existing staff, they're already feeling fairly warm towards us because they know that one of their friends works here or somebody they respect works here already. So they're kind of prepared to be treated fairly, and they're not on edge that we're going to be mistreating them throughout the interview process or anything. They know that they've got a warm landing basically. So that's something we try and do as well to kind of make sure that from an employer branding perspective, but also just the incentive side of things, we're getting people through who would be welcome and would be a good fit.
Yeah, and that referral works not just in digital marketing, it works as well on recruitment. Yeah, the referral is probably the best. You get the trust that you might not feel any other way. And one of the things that this is why I brought this topic is we've all been at some point in our lives, or recently or not, also been in an interview as the interviewed person. So it's only the matter of understanding, okay, how I like to be treated. And then it's actually how you all said, I don't like to just be hanging there, just no answers or whatsoever. So I don't like to be there going through that experience. So I shouldn't be putting others through it. So I think that's pretty much sums up the
uncertainty is what people are most uncomfortable with in many areas of life. They can deal with like a negative response if you respect them and give them clarity. Uncertainty is something everybody hates and everybody's familiar with it. Everyone knows that feeling.
Yeah.
So if you can avoid that, then that'd be good, for any kind of internal process as well. Make sure people know where they're at. And it goes back to kind of what we're saying about the communication side of things as well. If people don't feel adrift or isolated, if they have the certainty that the team is there, the team has their back, they can ask any question and the tools are there, and that helped all around.
Yeah, it's true. I think we still have around 13 minutes. I left the last part of our topics. It's a little bit not so much about this side of the aspect of the remote working, but some other aspect that I would really like to have your opinion on, because we do, at least me personally, I do feel that there's a shift, and this I'm talking about shift in consumer behavior. Because the fact that we are at home, the fact that we are working from home does shift a lot. And my personal experience, for instance, I do work with digital marketing as well, like Martin. And we rely a lot on data. We rely a lot on when people buy the most, what are the best times to buy, where are the best times to post, where are the best times. We always have data to support everything that we do. And the way that I see it, and this is where I would like to have your opinion, there is, it's not 180 degrees change, but there are changes in consumer behaviors. And this is actually interesting to see, even in tools that we use and the data that we get, that we can see shifts, we can see changes, even in the timings when people buy things, when people approach the consumption, and this is where I would like to have your feedback. Do you guys had to adjust your communication anyhow, or adjust the way that you're providing the services or products because of changes that happened in the consumer habits? Because people are now at home, so the way they deal with time is different. As Martin said, we don't have to be commuting all the time, so we switch off and we're already home. So is there anything that changed, and any changes on your side to deal with this? This goes to any of you.
I can start with this if it's okay. So basically a lot of has changed, and one point of view is like, are we B2B or B2C or B2B2C, depending who are we communicating to. The biggest shift that has happened is certainly in the events. within the industry, because in 2020 all the main events were canceled, so everyone had to find a way how to reach those prospects, clients, customers, whatever. And we had to find a way to stand out in the overcrowded digital sphere that occurred during that time, because LinkedIn at that moment bursted. So everyone shared the posts, shared comments and everything. That's okay. I honestly encourage the leadership thought, but at some point of time, I believe we had overwhelming amount of content with not so much value. So the main concern was how to stay present with the right message, to deliver the value, to deliver the accurate pinpoint, to assure your client that you're on top of things still, and you have shifted smoothly without losing the value of the product, of the presence, and so on. I believe that that period is going to continue too, and we are going to have additional fights with Google algorithms and everything that's coming in the future, and all of the releases that are coming. And I believe that at some moment the space is going to become, or if it isn't already, really saturated. So it's always up to the marketer how to find the best way to overcome those little obstacles and communicate the message itself. But the last thing, just like in the recruitment process and everything, with the product itself, it's always important to keep the same level of customer satisfaction, because at the end, the word of mouth for the product itself, like we have in Bicom, always has one of the top values too. So I believe in combining all those aspects, and of course always trying to adhere to all the changes that come. But that's of course the not only up to marketer but up to management as well to survive in the agile surroundings and to react to the changes smoothly.
Exactly. I don't know if someone else wants to add.
Totally agree. I totally agree with everything. And especially on the B2B level with FSI, yes, you have to have content and valuable content, not just everything that's just to be present and have posts and whatnot. So what we did was actually emphasize on creating content that highlights and explains not just the value, but the functionality of our products and their use to our clients. So we are still in the process of even enriching this content, videos, articles, also email marketing, but targeted and, kind of scarce, not so often as not to become a spam. And also what I've noticed on freelancing on the B2C level is that actually things have become even more massive than they were digitally wise, because as you said, people are at home, there are no specific hours. It's no longer the thing like, okay, perhaps they will browse more after work or first thing in the morning. It's all the time. It could be late at night as well. And you have to actually notice the targeting and the demographics, where people are located, their age group. So you can actually strategize and say, okay, so for example, if my customer base is between 35 to 50, yes, go Facebook, go Instagram. If I have even a bit younger demographic, go TikTok, even more Instagram. And you have to just adjust your program, but be always present. You have to always have a campaign on, and there's really as long as the client can allocate budget, that's good.
If I just may add one more thing to Maria's things, I believe the focus here is also on the funnel phase we are communicating. So there's, of course, when we have demographics and all the data, we need to know what we are trying to achieve with that concrete target or target audience or content. So having clearly defined funnel and goals for each funnel is one of the things that we are working mostly on. So because we want to know, we want, when we do something, we want to have feedback, we want to have results, not only in conversion rate, but any detail necessary for our further activities. So just to confirm everything you have said, but just to add those funnels as well.
Yeah. I don't know if Martin or Christina, you want to add something here, or you agree with everyone?
Well, I have a similar view, but in a recruiting standpoint, if I may. So I think now social recruitment is very important, a part of the smartrecruitment.com. We actually allocate a lot of our time now on like engaging social recruitment content that's engaging for the audience, because traditionally we can't just advertise jobs as, hey, looking for this anymore, right? Yeah. Now LinkedIn is all about story branding and storytelling. And I think that this kind of goes in with your topic of shift in consumer buying habits too, because now we've shifted to more of a value-based purchasing model, right? Where we're back to basics. Consumer spending habits are based on their values, which is very similar to what we're seeing in recruitment as well. Being more personable in your recruiting habits and your social recruitment content and marketing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the number one marketing methodology of 2021 is LinkedIn polls. Let's go. So I think they're the ultimate method that we should all follow.
That's a plague, honestly. That's
probably what I think.
That will haunt me for the rest of my life.
I think it's the best.
And you can be the face of the polls.
Oh yes, of course. I'll send my application to LinkedIn. So
international brand ambassador for sure. Yes. Exactly. But yes, I mean, for me, like, we see a lot on the client side, how some things have changed a bit, some things have changed a lot, some things haven't changed at all. Like I think Maria was saying, you look at the data and, if search trends haven't changed, then even on a gut level, you think, oh my God, the pandemic must have shifted everything. It hasn't in some cases. And in some cases it has, because as people have said, people might be making B2B buying decisions while, in the evening, because there isn't that same delineation between work life and home life anymore, positively or negatively. Yeah. But I think, the more you can build things into models based on data, the better. But I think for us personally, I think in a way, there's been some advantages in the past couple of years for being remote, because you can get straight to the detail with people. But then I think also that can facilitate understanding. So Maria was talking about, how things work, functionality, all that kind of stuff. To make an actual purchasing decision, sometimes you need to see the whites of your eyes and meet people in person and see, okay, I understand what you're saying, but now I trust you. So I think it's that blended thing in a B2B landscape. And in a B2C landscape, it's trying to keep an eye on those trends. So in iGaming, poker had a surge. We know certain segments of e-commerce had a surge. We know that, in times of crisis, people value little luxuries more, even though they might be, people might have less money or be worried about having less money in the future. They'll still find money for a premium lipstick or like a premium, in my case, premium like kind of cologne or something, because it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it's a treat. It's something that can give you some satisfaction in tough times. So that is kind of the weird things of the pandemic and times of crisis. Sometimes people invest in little luxuries in surprising ways. Sometimes people go back to basics with like, okay, I need to work on my household budget more. I'm going to find new ways to shop groceries, for example. The data has the answers.
Yeah, it's I've seen one of the, just to close this, for instance, budgets, allocation apps, and for you to help in your household, how do you control and manage your finances? I think those apps like increased like 70% or something, because people really started to get more eager about, okay, let me spend my money wisely, even if wisely means buying some treats for themselves, of course. So guys, I think we were able to speak about everything. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure that we could stay here for an extra hour talking about all this, but unfortunately, Zoltan doesn't like us that much. So we only have 1 hour. It was a pleasure having you. it was a pleasure moderating this panel. It was really interesting to have all these perspectives from you, and then to have all these insights from different sides of the coin. And thank you for being here. I don't know if Sultan wants to jump in, or if there's anyone in the panel, if there's anyone that wants to add some last minute 30 seconds question. So if not, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vasco. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Just to add a quick tip for the future, you might want to check out the multiverse or metaverses for co-working spaces, etc. When working with remote people, because I just bought an Oculus and tested it out 2 days ago and entered the Facebook metaverse, and there were only like 15 people logged in. Everybody is just exploring that world over there. And the crazy thing was that when we started talking to each other, some of the connected people were telling us that if they are invading our private space, they are sorry. I mean, like, we are in robot shapes in virtual reality. So I think people got really crazy around this topic and just went ahead and bought some VR glasses, and started exploring virtual reality without somehow realizing that that is a virtual world. But I do believe that this might be the future workplace in which we might all be working in the next 5 years or so, because with the aggressive campaign, Mark Zuckerberg is investing $10 billion into metaverse. I think that this will change the world. All right, guys, thank you so much for this great panel. We move forward to our...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
To our next panel, where we are talking about social media influencers in general, and working with them. And just to let you know, I did not force Alex to dress like that. It's just a coincidence. Okay, Alex, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's just a coincidence. Usually the ladies are quite angry if they seem to be dressing the same, but it was really fun this morning when I saw Zoltan in the Zoom meeting that, hey, we had the same hoodie and the same cap. So yeah, marketing, right? So I'm inviting Janina to join the discussion. Technically, we should have Or as well with us, but I don't honestly know what's happening. Maybe he's going to join in a little bit later. So let me introduce you to Janina Kaplia. She's head of marketing at Bad Games, and I'm kindly asking you to let us a little bit more about your work.
So hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's always exciting to join the festival and discuss the latest trends in marketing. I think every time we're joining, it's always such a great number of insights that we're taking out of here and then can implement into our daily routine. So thanks a lot. And a couple of words about myself. So as Alex said, my name is Janina Kaplia, and I'm a head of marketing at Bad Games. Now I'm leading the brand and covering all of the marketing functions in the company. It's my third year in iGaming, and previously I was the head of marketing for EvoPlay company. This is the game development company based in Ukraine as well. So I have a background in B2B IT industry, so that gives me a big perspective on how marketing can work and support business goals. So I would say that with all of the experiences in many industries, I can see marketing from different angles. So we'll be happy to share all of my insights and experiences on our panel today.
Sorry, I'm having quite a bit of a technical difficulty.
Alex, I wish I could help you, but you know, I'm a marketing person here. So while you're struggling with technical things, I can just I can just support you with, positive vibe.
Yeah, can you hear me? It's all good now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Sorry, I missed your last 10 seconds.
No worries. I was just filling the media space.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, in order to get this panel going, let's talk about, first of all, from your perspective, what is an influencer? I mean, everybody knows the term, everybody knows that an influencer is a person that is well known, that basically needs no introduction. But does it have to be related to the specific work field of, for example, the company that is using his image? Or does it have to have any achievements, or it's enough just to have a good name?
So I would say right now, the word influencer is basically covering a lot of different terms, right? So if we make it really short and really simple, it's basically the person who can influence our decision to buy or experience the product. So that's, the easiest thing. It doesn't identify the industry, the gender, the profession. So that's basically a character, right? So that is something that like a person who has the credibility, that we share the same tastes, share the same interests, and of course we rely on some expertise when the person actually advises something. So if we talk about influencers in iGaming, from what I see, these people are not deeply connected to the industry, and usually what they are connected to the certain lifestyle and to certain decision-making process, and maybe some things that we share in common. So basically, among all of the influencers we've been working with in my previous experiences, I would say that people have the different perception to influencers. They can both enjoy watching streamers who stream the videos, and that would be a very specific type of influencer. So basically that is the person who is gambling on a regular basis. He records it, he's streaming, he is walking you through the process, he gives you some education on how to do this, some best practices, and so on and so forth. Where there could be people, some famous personalities, maybe some people from like pop culture, or I don't know, just lifestyle influencers who would just advise your brand or attract attention to something that you have, a product, your brand in generally, and that would have the same impact as the person that is deeply connected to gambling. So I would say that here it depends on what are the relationship between the influencer and his audience. So I think that is more important rather than is this person is connected to the industry, or does he have a deep experience in something. If we're not talking about the things that actually need a certain education or a license or something like that. So of course, if we're talking about some diets or any pharmacological things, of course we want the person to have a certain education background and so on and so forth. But when we're talking about entertainment, I would say things are a little bit easier here. So we just need to find the character that matches the same, that shares the same brand values, that can interact with your brand and give the same vibe that you want people to experience when they interact with your brand.
I see. And what do you think about I don't even have a term for it, but let's say a very popular person, a movie star or a sports star, something like that, that's not necessarily an influencer per se. I mean, Um, uh, are the results the same if we use the image of a well-known person that's not that active on social media compared to a person that, let's say, it's a little bit less known, but it's more active on social media? Do you think that maybe the results could be comparable?
Well, to be honest, I will just speak, about my impression on how it works better. But we are advertising the digital product, right? So the product that, for example, Bad Games has, EvoPlay had, all of our game providers have. It's digital. Basically, you can experience it on your smartphone, on your desktop, and that gives you, this screen experience when you need a device to experience this product. So of course that easily is connected to social media. So depending on what is the goal that you set for the influencer, that will depend whether you want him to be socially engaging on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, no matter what platform you choose. But I would say from my perspective, the goal of the influencer campaign is to push a kind of a dialogue, to force a discussion and to get people engaged around your brand. Just looking at the image or the picture and have no actions, have no call to action on that picture is not exactly something that would help. First of all, understand what result did you achieve your results, right? And what result did you put? Was it just impressions for people just to see this image and scroll down and then never get back to it? Of course, we all want to have some certain call to action. We want to see the conversion. We want to see if people had any interaction, any thoughts, any like comments, like shares, participation in contests. Did they click and tried your product after that, and so on and so forth. So I would say that at this point, social activity for the influencer is really essential, and that actually makes a difference when you then look at the list of influencers and select someone for your brand.
I see. And since you mentioned various social media platforms, I have two really tricky questions. First of all, would the same face of an influencer, would that be okay to be used on all social media, or does it really have to be vetted for each platform inside? I mean, if we have a trend, if we take a trending influencer on Facebook, would it have the same results on LinkedIn, the same campaign, the same mechanisms?
Yes, well, first of all, let's differentiate the social media platforms. Of course, for kind of influencer campaigns, I wouldn't select LinkedIn as such, as this is a very, B2B business oriented platform. So of course, I can't even imagine who would be a great influencer for LinkedIn. That's a very specific type of campaign.
Well, Bill Gates, for example.
Yeah, that's for sure. This guy is totally a LinkedIn guy, not a TikTok guy. However, if we look at platforms, of course, we understand that each of the platform has its audience, and the product of each of social media is different. So, of course, such platforms like TikTok and Instagram, they are very visual. So we want the person who has a lot of video content, a lot of images, so that would correspond to the audience. Of course, if we want people to get into reading something, some experience, advice, suggestion, that would be more for Facebook. So that would be the person who actually has the credibility and the audience that enjoys reading, discussing, and so on and so forth. And of course, if we talk about Twitter, that's completely another platform, and it gives a very, very short information, and then the main goal for the person is to actually click on the link on Twitter and then go to the initial source and then to discover what was there. So I would say that among the influencers, of course, all of them are different and they use different platforms. They can be active on all of the platforms, but then, I'm really thankful to this 2021 that we have so many software opportunities to measure the engagement of audience of any influencer across all of the social media. So I would say that for any company that plans to have an influencer campaign, now it becomes really easy to select with who do you go to which platform, because you can already see using the software where the engagement of the audience the best, what are the keywords that they like, and so on and so forth. So I would say that of course, we can plan everything, and we can use all of the software, and we can select all of the right people for Facebook, all of the right people with the highest engagement for Instagram, plan all of the content for them, launch the campaign. But based on the first round of the results, we can see that the audience that we thought would be the most active on Facebook went to Twitter. So of course, here it's always a challenge to be very flexible and to be ready to adapt. So sometimes, no matter how good you get prepared and analyze the influencer, the audience then leads the conversation to where they think it should go. So yeah, answering your question, I think we still need to have different people for different platforms. I think this is just makes it easier for the audience, makes the content be easier to find by the audience that has to receive it.
Really nice. Personally, I do have dilemma in terms of which style would be easier to get engagement with the audience. As far as I've seen, there are two types of using an influencer in terms of marketing campaigns. The first one is basically taking your content published on the influencers' pages. The second one is using the image of the influencer on your own pages. So what are the main differences and the main discrepancies in terms of how to plan an influencer campaign on these two? Or maybe if there are some more, you can shed some light on that.
I would say that there should be a smart mix of all of the things you do with the influencer. If you believe that an image is enough, to advertise your product, you just need, a static face to be close to your product, and that's enough. That's fine. If it works well, we can continue like that. However, sometimes people want to really interact with your product. If they see the influencer, they want to ask some questions, they want to see it in action. And I would say that we have tried different models on how our influencers worked. They both interacted with the content. They posted our content without them in the video. They both, had filmed themselves talking about our product. Sometimes, there was no product at all. So I would say that all of these things work. They just work in a really different way. So I think by having a mix of different, a variety of content, that would be the best selection, because people would not be bored by seeing, people just interacting with your product every day, every time. That would be that would give them the feeling of selling. And of course, the role of influencer is to make the purchase very natural and, very easy, so that the person doesn't really feel that he's been sold something. I think that is, another essential thing that makes an influencer a successful brand ambassador for your product or brand.
Nice. And as we're talking about different approaches and different strategies, I do have one more question in terms of how to choose a good influencer for your product. Would you go on choosing very well-known person in day-to-day life, in real life, versus an influencer that is not very well known in our daily lives, but it's very strong and has very forte position on social media?
Thank you. That's a really great question. And I believe it's always, a struggle of the marketer to select. Would you, go for something that would generate results because you already know, what to expect from the audience and so on and so forth, to go with medium or small influencer size, or go with a superstar, spend all of your budget on that and really don't know whether it would work or not. And, I thought about this a while ago. I think maybe you even saw there is like this video ad about Jennifer Lopez, if I'm not mistaken. She's playing like a game on the phone. So it's basically like, is it a farm?
Oh yeah, I
And
saw the one with the little piggy and the golden coins.
yes, so basically that is I think there are like 5 or 6 videos where she has some argues with people in the supermarket who burned her village and so on and so forth. And of course, when you look at this game, you wouldn't actually consider Jennifer Lopez to be the perfect brand ambassador for it. However, the ad, it's funny, it's engaging. Not quite sure, it like, I don't know the product itself to make a decision whether it was a good choice or not. So I would say, from my personal perspective, of course, we look into a little bit different audience for advertising. We look into people who are popular in the specific region, because we have regional campaigns. We don't run a global campaign with one brand ambassador for all of the products. So we look into selecting people who are interesting in the specific region, not just interesting, like a media person, but we want this person to be somehow connected to lifestyle, entertainment, maybe sports, maybe betting, maybe casino. So somewhere where we will have the overlaps with what we do, so that the advertising wouldn't be, out of the blue. So the person was always about, I don't know, gardening and cooking, and suddenly, there is a person who is advertising gambling. That would be a little bit different. Of course, we need to make sure that the audience that is following this person would be, would have the good perception to our product, and we're not just doing, some influencer campaign just with a famous person just for fun. So I would say that from my experience, I would go with the medium and small influencers. First of all, they have a really good engagement with their audience. So the audience always gets into the dialogue. They always they always interact with the content from the influencer. They always give you the instant feedback. So if you have a campaign with the influencer, you will not wait for 1 month to see the results. You will see their feedback under this post straight away, because they would like to interact, discuss, participate, and so on and so forth. Maybe times will change. Maybe small influencers will not exist at all. However, the way I see it, that big influencers will still, be popular and, actually considered by some brands. However, for recurring campaigns, if you want to run them on a monthly basis in really different regions with different audiences, I would go with medium and small sized influencers.
Okay, thank you very much. And do you think that an influencer campaign would be a good choice when not a product, when a company is launching?
Well, of course, I had, why not? Why not to try this as well? So if I got your question correctly, do you mean, if I'm establishing the business and, I want to advertise the business specifically? Of course, I think especially for B2C, that's the safest choice. You are advertising with someone who is famous already, popular, you already secure some audience for this brand, for this product, for this business. So I would say that's, a good safe choice to go, rather than, spend all of the budget on digital ads or, like radio, TV, especially. So maybe to go with the influencer, try with a smaller audience, receive their user feedback, and then make certain decisions what would be, the preferable then, space for you to advertise it. But, in terms of B2B, not quite sure if, if using an influencer would work and give the best results if you're just launching the business. So that depends. I think, budget wise, I'm not for sure I would go with the B2B business to be advertised within B2B landscape with an influencer. How do you?
But I'm thinking, okay, if we are B2B, then well, all the participants in the industry know what this is about, and it wouldn't be such a blowback even if the campaign would not be so successful. But I'm thinking on B2C, if you are not maybe digging your own hole, kickstarting your advertising with an influencer campaign, because like, okay, what's next? Okay, you take an influencer, everything is fine. Okay, people are receptive, the audience is engaging, it's all good. But how do you keep that audience engaged if they are used to having an influencer from the actual beginning of the business? Wouldn't they feel like your footprint is going low after the campaign would end?
Then you shouldn't end the campaign probably, because as we
but the budget is limited.
Yes and no. I would say this then depends on how do you want to build your go-to-market strategy in general. Because if you think that one shot of fireworks on day one will help you to secure all of the results for the next year, you are forgetting that the memory of the person who is perceiving user content is just 3 to 5 seconds. After that, you lose attention completely. So this is why all of the stories, TikTok videos, they are becoming so popular, because people actually want to consume a very short content. They want it fast. They want it to be, they wanted to have the full context. And, like for the person to read, understand, and, swipe to the left, swipe to the right, no matter, how they read it. So, as you know, it's unlikely that we will make our, generation of millennials, we will not make them read these huge books that we read at school, books of 600 pages, 1,000 pages. They will not just be concentrated, they will lose attention after the 15th page, and that will be the end. They will not be able to understand, so what is this about? And I think this is what we need to keep in mind when we plan the campaign. We need to actually try to keep attention of our audience, make the spikes, have some small content pieces dropped every other week, every 2 weeks, but we can't make just a big campaign on the first week and then, okay, we don't have any budget, so probably we will now sit and wait for the result to come. So I would, in this case, I would go with better, lower budget, but increase the duration.
I see. Tell me, what are the top 3 platforms in terms of engagement right now, at least for your business from your point of view?
So I would say, of course, for our audience specifically, we need to understand that our social media, they are, of course, B2B, and then a mix of B2C and B2B audience. However, of course, we look at how our B2C partners have the interaction with our audience. So, of course, they have the access to, attention of the end user. So what we see is, of course, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram are the most popular social media in terms of engagement, in terms of content, like conversion and so on and so forth. For now, I think things will remain the same for this year at least. And then, like we will see if things change. However, I still think that, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter will be the three, whales that are carrying our earth of media for a while.
And in terms of money, is the same the same top applies in the same order?
Well, to be honest, I would say that working with influencers, you have this, let's call them package deals, right? So you do not pay separately for Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. So you always purchase the number of posts or the engagement of the influencer. So you basically do not really select one platform out of the platforms they can offer. And I would say that probably this is smart. Of course, if you want to go with Instagram only, then you go to the influencer that has only Instagram as the main platform. You would not purchase, a package of Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter if the influencer is not active on the other two. So that depends, of course, like budget-wise, where do you invest? We haven't experienced, purchasing influencer by certain platforms, so I cannot tell you the price range, between different influencers. So can't say much about that.
Okay, now what about the uprising, trending, curious, at least for the young people, platform called TikTok? Do you think that maybe in the close future would it be possible to have it engaged as actual working tool for social media campaigns involving influencers, let's say?
Well, it's already been very engagement in terms of influencers. However, let's keep in mind that this audience needs to reach 18 or 21 first before we can work with them, right? So I'm not quite sure if they are a good fit for gambling industry at the moment. However, from the growing, popularity of stars that have never done anything but for filming some videos on TikTok, I would say influencer marketing is actually growing out of TikTok, right? So what we see is that TikTok can kick some good, social media influencers from, newspapers, TV. They can already push them a little bit because they are taking the stage. So of course, I think that in a couple of years, when and if the demographics of TikTok becomes older, if we see that kids who are now the main audience of TikTok remain the audience of TikTok in a couple of years, then I would say yes, all of our B2B, B2C gambling brands will go into TikTok and invest really big budgets into capturing the attention. For now, for a couple of years, I don't think TikTok will become a big thing for gambling brands.
I see. But what about the cross-platform usage? I mean, scrolling daily on the Facebook stories, I see, like, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but more than 50% of the stories are TikTok shares.
Yeah, and the same goes, for Instagram as well. You can always see TikTok logo on all of the videos that has been posted. I think that will remain. I will be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Facebook stories, and I still believe that Facebook should have removed them after the first round of after launch. I think it was like a month after launch when they realized that nobody actually posts Facebook stories, because Facebook is the specific platform for not actually visual content, and it's more for discussion, like copy, text, and engaging in building the discussion around some content. And I would say that I even don't know why people would post TikTok stories into Facebook stories, and who would be the audience that sits both in TikTok and Facebook stories. So that's a very interesting concept. I would say this is still a mystery for me personally, but of course, I think content will move back and forth. It will migrate, like from one platform to another, and I think this will become even more interesting after Meta launches, the global, I would say, expansion of this digital virtual space where we will all be working and communicating, because this is where the content that we all consume from different, sources. I think this is the time when Facebook will make sure that both Facebook and Instagram bring the value to general Meta product, right? So all of these, they should be complementary to this big brand that they are launching, and they need to generate, more and more so-called revenue or, attention, because it's all about monetization. I'm pretty sure that, you watched, and I think we discussed it last time. I don't remember if you were at our panel. I think Zoltan was for sure. And we got into this big, discussion of that Netflix social dilemma, if I'm not mistaken, right? That was, there was a documentary about Facebook and Instagram and all of the social media, and how do they generate money, how do they keep all of these amazing offices that we look at, in Silicon Valley, where do they find money to keep all of these people working for these brands? So of course, when we look at how Facebook presents all of these universes, we still need to keep in mind they're not doing it, to introduce something just for us to enjoy. It will be always about monetization. So we will see a lot of product placements there, a lot of possibilities to purchase something in virtual reality that then you can, consume and use in offline world. So I'm pretty sure we will have all of the Amazon digital shops in that Meta, and all of the brands will display all of their things. And, I don't remember where I saw the latest, a couple of videos about how all of the gambling products, they are becoming very cross-platform, so basically you can play a video game on your, PlayStation, and in this game you will have a casino where you can go and gamble, right? So of course, we will see later on that Facebook will, I'm pretty sure, Meta will take it, and they will build virtual casinos. And this is where we can integrate our services and use our virtual influencers. Who will it be, in that casino? Maybe we will have actual superstars working in those virtual spaces.
Well, as Zoltan just wrote in the chat here, we already have advertising space in the multiverse, and
Nice.
we have advertising space in Neos right now during the HIPTHER festival in the virtual world over there. We have yesterday during the NFT Revolution panel, we just posted a link with an NFT art gallery that had products for sale, and these things are really happening.
Yeah, so when we talk about, just to answer once again your question, when we talk about cross-platform, it's not only about social media right now. As you understand, this now becomes a very deep merge in between so many things that for now it looks messy and complicated, but I think there will become a moment when, similar to how our world changed in 2020, in March, things changed like that, and we didn't expect it coming, right? And I think with social media and, Meta and something, all of the platforms, well, now we have such a big selection of things that, you need to go to, like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of this, LinkedIn. You have like a selection of all of the platforms. Then you have this possibility to work virtually and have this virtual world. So I think there will become a moment where it will have a big bang, and we will have something completely new that will actually be a multifunctional thing that will have all of the social media inside, all of the possibilities, because the attention of the user right now is really spread into so many things. People find it really hard to focus because, we have Netflix, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, and our attention, all of these fights for attention, someone has to win at some point. And I think in the next year or two, we will see who is the winner of the attention. So what it will be, we'll see.
Yeah, we can't say for sure what it will be, because I remembered that it seems like yesterday, but actually, if I think better, it was several years ago, that there was a moment that you could actually reach the end of your feed on Facebook. Now,
I don't remember this time already. Like that was.
Now we that's not even a thing anymore. You cannot, and you cannot reach the end of your feed.
Well, you
and
can,
things are,
of course, yeah, but you need to remove all of your friends and, unlike all of your subscriptions.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say is that things are moving so fast, and the numbers are growing so exponentially. Like, okay, jumping up from 5 to 10 to 20 friends to thousands, hundreds of thousands. Now we're talking about millions and billions of subscribers, of views.
Yeah.
And I just got a quick question before we end this in terms of numbers. Does 1 million subscribers on Facebook equals 1 million subscribers on Twitter in terms of engagement?
Wow, that's an interesting one. I'm really fascinated by people who have 1 million subscribers on Facebook. I think these people are really, crazy, and they generate a lot of content. And of course, they take it really seriously. So you can't become such an influencer if you don't have a content plan. People not follow you unless you are a superstar and you are starring in Hollywood movies, and you have, just 1 or 2 posts like Angelina Jolie, right, on Instagram. So for, let's say, average citizen to become an influencer, you actually need to have it as your, daily work, daily routine, and you need to work to on your content, on your experience, on engaging with your audience to reach this number. So I would say that I actually admire all people who could reach this status on Facebook. However, in terms of Twitter, I would say that sometimes I feel like Twitter is, a source of news, and some accounts, they just repost news from other people. So kind of they piggyback in, right, on the other brands. So maybe for Twitter, you can become really popular by just reposting something that someone else posts. So you shouldn't actually create your own content on Twitter. You can just make a couple of reposts, and then people will follow you, because, they shouldn't follow 50 sources. You will generate all of the interesting content for them on your page. So
really,
that is just my understanding of Twitter. Maybe I'm wrong. Of course, I already see that Zoltan has his camera on, so probably he wants to argue with me on Twitter and Facebook, because I see his camera on suddenly. So yeah, I think that depends. And I think in terms of the audience, I would rather go with, Facebook audience if you want to have some meaningful discussion. And for Twitter, if you want just to share an update.
Okay, and let's complicate this a little bit on the last 100 meters. What about 1 million subscribers on Instagram?
You're not making it easier for me, Alex. Well, here, let's not forget about the real subscriber base. So there is a certain software that can actually see the real audience among your subscribers. So it actually can remove all of the bots. It can actually see the level of engagement. And basically, you are not, right now, you're not really interested in, do you have 1 million of subscribers or followers? You want to understand what is the level of engagement of the audience. If the audience just follows, someone, but will not interact with the content, or that will be all of these fake accounts, they just have the bot and they create fake messages. It doesn't matter whether you have 1 million or 1,000. 1,000 can give you a more valuable result out of that. So I would say it's not that easy to identify where's the 1 million is worth it. I would say better to see the engagement level. And if I'm not mistaken, the low is 10 to 14. And then from 14 to 25, it's the medium. And if the engagement level of the influencer is higher than 25, they have this algorithm calculated, that it considered the best person to advertise it. And you can use, it's called like influencer.com or something. It's free of charge, and you can actually even see your profile and just to see how real your audience. So that's more interesting. Here, I wouldn't stick to, what they put in their profile. Is it 1 million or 50 million? You just need to look at engagement.
I just went online on influencer.com.
Yeah, if you want,
Okay.
I can send you the link. I always check some people, sometimes I'm just interested, if having 1 million subscribers actually means that this is the audience that is alive.
Okay, really nice. Please do send me the link.
Yeah.
It was a very, very, very nice and insightful discussion. Thank you very much for being with us today. Hopefully we shed some light on some of the itchy questions that people have in terms of social media and influencers. Thank you again, and I'm right now passing the microphone to Zoltan to introduce the new panel. Thank you very much, Janina.
Thank you, guys. It was really a great conversation. Have a great day and enjoy the festival.
I just want to add to the virtual reality part about metaverse that metaverse has existed for a long time now. Facebook is just making a hype of it now, but it's working. As I told you, I just explored the multiverse a couple of days ago, and there are already advertising spaces available where you can already buy advertising space, but there are no users online yet. So the planetarium is already built. There's a grand central station where you can meet up with people, talk to them directly via your goggles. It's very interesting. It's but I don't think that it will catch on very fast. But once it catches on, it will become really big because it's a different way of connecting. But it's more importantly a different way of advertising, because you can also post videos on the wall. So I'm not really eager to have that type of experience in virtual reality where all those types of advertising pop up in front of you. But we will just have to wait and see if also fact checkers will also be available for virtual reality spaces.
Yeah, we'll see. But, I think it will be really exciting to see.
Yeah, it already is. It already is.
Yeah, how it evolves. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe a couple 100 years from now, those pop-ups will actually be material things popping in your face on the street. So.
Oh, please don't. Let them, create the ad blocker as well for this game.
Okay, thank you so much. The next panel is about to start, where we have the world-class moderator Tal Ron joining us. Tal, it's nice to see you again. now.
No way. World class mega. No. Listen, you know what, Mr. Zoltan,
Universe
Mr.
class.
Alex.
Universe class. Okay.
No. Universe class is okay. No. It's okay. Guys, first of all, nice to meet you again, Mr. Zoltan and Alex. I think that you're the only guys who did not start and returned back to the face-to-face events. Now, I know that you're very anti-vaccine, right? Or did you change your mind, Zoltan? That's correct.
Yeah, I'm not anti. I'm just pro no bullshit.
Okay, you know that it's a very, it's like this is stuff that you don't speak on panels, but I had to start with that because everybody.
Yeah, no. For next year we will start in-person conferences as well.
No, but if you're not vaccinated, I'm personally I'm not sure that many people will come. If you take it as like a compliment or take it as a motto, that's fine. I can tell you that of course everybody can choose their own stuff, but I think you're also vegan, and I'm very pro either to be vegan or vegetarian. But I think that at the end of the day, there will be no other choice to get vaccine unless we'll want to continue with this online events, and that's my 2 cents. Anyway, also Alex is not vaccinated, or it's like a normal Alex.
No, he is, and he will be most probably the person you will be see at the in-person conferences because I'm banned from being a citizen or a human on planet Earth now.
No,
I will stay in virtual space and cyberspace and say hello to you on a video in Prague or Budapest or Vilnius next year. So
you know that you're missing all the fun, but that's your issue, guys. We start exactly on time.
Okay,
great. Normally sometimes there are delay for a 5-minute delay. It's almost on time. So guys, with no further delay, let's introduce the people here with us on stage. And again, very happy to have you here a week before Sigma. Already, every day is very, very exciting to see lots of interesting stuff. Today is the Picante. It's the second Picanto, my friend Zoltan, or the third. Which edition is it?
It's the second edition of this.
Second edition. Okay, yeah. Great. So very great. So some are already were speaking on the previous one. Some are new on this event and this panel, and I'm very happy, guys. So let's introduce all the people here one by one. Let's start, with the most senior in age, even though normally you need to start with the big one. So let's start with the youngest in age. Emily Elmer, youngest in age. Not speaking about ages here, but she's also a woman. So also we start also with a woman. Emily Elmer, she's from my team. Started in the start of 2021, and she does handles and heads the compliance and e-merchant services department. Came from the United States of America. Worked with many cool clients of our team. Thank you, Emily, for joining us for the HIPTHER.
Thank you so much for having me on this great star-studded panel, we can call it.
Really star-studded panel. You can hear the accent, of Emily, like international Emily. We all are breaking our teeth with Israeli accent. Okay. Thank you, Emily. Next, Eran Shomron, from the most youngest to the most, I don't know. I know the age of Edgaras, I think, but I think that he's more, he's more younger than Eran, right? Edgaras, no, just joking, Edgaras. Yeah, so Eran, older than me in one year, I think. I won't tell you which years we were.
46.
What?
46.
Sorry? 46, yeah. I thought that you're joking. 66, yeah. Okay, so you already answered the question, yeah. So Eran was born in 75, I was born in 76. Yes, Eran. And Eran is actually one of the best management consultancies. He runs one of the best management consultancies that I have been working with. And I can tell you, he's working with several clients of our team. I know that he's also working with other industries, not only on gaming and not only on casinos and high tech. Also, he works with, beverages companies and many of the top 50 listed companies in Israel. But another interesting thing about Eran, that is also runs triathlon groups and running groups and lots of sports groups under the esports.co.il moniker. And I'm really happy that Eran, you changed and shifted. I had a meeting with you this morning, and you had to shift the meeting also with another guy to join us. And I just told you 2 days ago, listen, you're joining to that panel, and said, okay. So thank you, Eran, to join. Then we have Mr. Ido Hatchmon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eran. Thank you, my friend, from Ra'anan, of course, where I have been living a good part of my life. Ido Hatchmon, for the Israelis, we call it Ido Chachmon. For the international guys, Ido Hatchmon, which sounds very Chinese or something, right? Hatchmon. Do you know Mr. Chen? Like Mr. Chen is Mr. Chen. So Ido Hatchmon is a serial entrepreneur. He's been working in the online industries. I think I know Ido from 6 years. His partner is already 8 years, even though he's younger than Ido. But these guys, they know what they do. They're in the technology. They also deliver really good results in monetizing apps. They work in several industries, both e-commerce and also other innovative industries. And I'm really happy to have Ido with us on the third time on a panel. I think in the last month you were in Dubai, I think, right? You went in Dubai, you were in Berlin, and now you are here in Romania, actually. It's Transylvania, actually, but yeah, in Romania, online, broadcasting live from Tel Aviv. So thank you, Ido. I think that we need to unmute. Ido?
Yeah.
Okay, so good. Wow.
Here, thank you.
It looks like you're speaking either in the toilet or in the atomic shelter. Whatever it is, it doesn't sound good. So I suggest try to find a better place, because when I ask you a question, I don't want to hear it like that. Then we have Mr. Or Barnea. I told you it's a mega panel. Actually, Emily told the star-studded panel, which both are correct. Mr. Or Barnea from Lemur Creatives, again, one of the branding and advertising guys of the industry. It's a pleasure to have Or Barnea with us today. Next week we have Brandy Black from Barcelona in Malta. So I will have like a 1 week full of people, interesting people to speak with. So Or Barnea is from Lemur Creatives. He does lots of online branding and also offline branding, both for like the conventional people. Let's say I call it like the conventional people. There's also interesting stuff like doctors, like more. Let's say, sorry to say, doctor is conventional. You know what I mean? Building companies, and also working with banks, with online companies, also working with our team. And I can tell also musicians. So this is Mr. Or Barnea from Jaffa, which is near Tel Aviv. Thank you.
Guys. Hey guys, how is everybody doing? I'm happy to be here, and thank you, Tal, for hosting this. And thank you, Zoltan, and everyone in the HIPTHER team. Happy to be here.
Actually, Or was one of the speakers in Berlin, which at the last moment had to go and to travel with his family to the north, and said, okay, that's fine. The ticket was already booked, but already it's okay.
To the south.
Thank you.
To the south.
The south. Okay. Listen, everything which is outside of Tel Aviv, for me, Emily knows that, and my team knows it. Outside of Tel Aviv, we call it abroad. I cannot move outside of my home or my office. It's like too far. So for me, everything which is like outside this square kilometer is like, I don't know where it is. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have here my friend Edgaras Grabauskas. And as you know, all the people from Vilnius has very, very cool name. They have either an E with a top, like, E like in the top, which is really cool. You have like women with E like that. You have guys with us, like Alanas, Vilchinas, or Ivchinas, and you have Kristaps, and you have like if you have a girl, it can be Vilte or Paula. No, Paula is without no. But I can tell you, I really like the style and the cool people in the Baltics. And sorry, my friends from Estonia and Latvia, I think the best are the guys from Lithuania. So Edgradas Grabauskas, would you agree that the Lithuanian people are the coolest?
Of course, Tal. Thank you for this nice introduction, and I would definitely agree with what you just said.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. So as you say, and you already know, a very informal introduction. I'm Talas Ronas from, if I was in Vilnius, that was the name probably. And, as you all know, hopefully, I'm a gaming lawyer and a high-tech lawyer from Tel Aviv. And I would like to ask you several questions and hear it from you one by one. Let's start with the same thing that I really found it very, very interesting. Nowadays, and that's a marketing event, nowadays you can reach audiences in very, very cheapish prices, okay? In the past, probably it was more expensive, maybe to convert, maybe to reach audiences. Now, you can do an mailer, you can do a marketing campaign, you can do lots of stuff, which I think is very cheap. Now, the question is like this: if you use low resources and you can reach audiences with low resources, does it mean that it's actually easier to reach paying and converting customers, or it's like it's not like this? And that's a question that I had in mind. I didn't even get you to know what I'm going to ask. I see that you're surprising you because you thought I will ask something else. So please, let's start one by one. let's start, let's say, with Mr. Or Baraner. Thank you.
Thank you, Tal. So yeah, this is a great question. When I'll go back a little bit, when the digital paying ads on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and what have you came to life, then you're absolutely right. Advertising went much cheaper than anything we knew before, which is basically print, television, radio, and if you want also offline billboards and such. So the headline is that yes, it is cheaper, and you can reach lots of audiences with not a lot of money to convert and to bring leads into your work. But there are two funnels. Let's say if we want to convert or if we want to create leads that are the standard in online advertising. One is reaching for a large mass of audience. The larger, the better, which of course is installed with minimum data that you have and minimum segmented audience, which means interest, age, geography, and so what have you.
Can you explain that? Can explain that point, because that's an important point that probably should be repeated, please.
Yeah. So when you create an ad, let's say you create an ad to bring leads to if you want to sell shoes or you want to sell law services.
You want to sell a casino that are so good that everything is, I don't know, you get like a free bonus spin every 5, I don't know, turns.
So one of the technique is to pay a sum of money for that ad and say, okay, let's expand. Let's not focus on a lot of data, just expand to as the bigger the audience, the better. So maybe, so we can see a lot of people seeing the ad, and inside that sea of people, we can probably get some relevant leads and some relevant conversions, because that's statistics, and that's how the world works. That's one funnel, and usually this method is cheaper because the system does not work hard to reach large audience.
Understood. Oh, stay with a second. Ido, you're also dealing with online marketing. Hopefully now it won't sound like you're in the atomic shelter. You got what Or said. I would like you to pick from that point, please, Ido. Ido?
I'm just trying to connect my other...
Okay, now we can hear you. He spoke about the segmentation of the customer. We can hear you. He spoke about the segmentation of the customer data and how to deal with it in the campaign. Now you're dealing with campaigns, let's say daily for the last 8 years. So you can pick up from Ido's point and Or's point and continue on maybe...
I was actually trying to connect my headphones while he was talking, so I missed a little bit of it. Could you ask me again, please?
No, okay. Okay. Let's do it.
Can repeat in a sentence about the two funnels that Ido
please.
Probably will take from there.
And after Ido, we'll speak with Edgaras and then Emily and then Eran. Okay, please.
There are two funnels that work when you first start online advertising. One is creating a large audience that is probably cheaper, and within that large audience, you can try and reach leads. You will get more leads, but only some will be relevant, and that will be a cheaper campaign. The other one is to work very much from the beginning on data-based campaigns, which you reach data that is everything, and you track all data that you can, reaching pixels and emails and phone numbers, and then the people can be more relevant, but you will get less leads, and it will be a little bit higher. The price will be a little higher. So these are the two funnels that all the time, as marketing people, all the time we go in between. And usually when you start marketing from the first, you go as wide as possible and then make your optimization.
Then you get narrow. You get like this, and then you got narrow. Okay, Ido, thank you. Ido, please pick up from there, and then Edgar. Thank you.
so for the first approach, of course, when you get started, you always need to collect and gather all the data, so you have what to work with in future. But I think it also depends on the verticals that you would work with. Because for me, for example, we always have to continue and work on wider audiences. For example, when we start in new geos, when we start with new types of campaigns, and it's always great to have also the older data to keep monetizing in the same markets that we've already started. So I would say we combine with both of these methods, but yeah, definitely always when we start a new geo or a new vertical, we would have to start very wide.
Understood. So what you actually agree is that to start with something wide and then focus, do all the time A/B testing until you get like the best recipe. That's correct, right?
Right. Yeah.
Understood.
And you have to remember, it's always a long process.
Exactly.
It's something that happens in months, if not years. Somehow.
It's not that you run with the suitcases. It's not run. Exactly. Like we all say. In Hebrew, you say, Eran, how we say, עושים ארגזים של כסף? We don't do. I don't know. It doesn't translate well in Hebrew. Yeah, but exactly. Edgaras,
Yes.
you're coming from a cool country that I like really much. I have some of my partners sitting there, and you're one of them. And I can tell you that Lithuania, I don't know how Lithuania actually promoted itself as like the, banking capital, financial capital of Europe.
Fintech hub.
How did they do it?
Hub.
Sorry?
Well, they brought the message that the fintech hub.
Okay, fintech hub, exactly. So they're like the fintech hub of Europe. Okay, actually, probably the government themselves does a good work, and also, the regulators. It's funny to say about the regulator that they do a good work, but even the Maltese, like my favorite regulator, it's funny to say that, but my favorite regulator is actually the Maltese guys, the gaming guys, who you can grab a beer and see their booth in each and every gaming event. They're really cool people, very young and motivated and amazing. But I think that also if you see the Lithuanian regulator, the Bank of Lithuania, you see that because everything is like structurized and everything is solid and you know what you do and you know what you get, I think it puts a good reputation to the industry. But for you, you come as a bank and you need to market yourself as a bank. And we all know that the cost of running a campaign might be low, but the conversion can be not really the best. So I'm asking you, as a conservative bank, how can you use these type of methods to promote a bank which until very recently was basically very offline? Edgar.
Yes, exactly, Tal. So the bank comes, with over 20 years of experience and only a few years of experience within international market and working online businesses. So what we did and what Ido and Mr. Orr said, going wide and then narrowing, we took the second part, we took it narrow, and then we chose a message, breaking traditional banking barriers and selling the expertise and attention to people with the boutique approach towards every single client, which we call our partner. So with this boutique approach, we approach each and every client, with the specific attention, and we don't apply very special templates to each and every client. So we don't go wide, we go a bit narrower.
In the marketing campaigns.
In the
marketing campaigns. And it's interesting because I see like you're not coming to each and every event, like for a reason probably, because at this reason you want to focus, right? If I understand correctly, you want to focus on the boutique events that go together with actually, we hate that term, risk appetite, yeah? But with your risk appetite, until actually, like as you said, it'll be more convenient and more reasonable to do more stuff. And the funny stuff, you mentioned it very briefly, and it's like, yeah, your company has been already like 20 years in a business, like a cooperative, like a banking cooperative, right?
Yes.
And for you it was very brick and mortar, exactly, brick and mortar bank. Like you get inside with checks, but do you still have this type of activities yet?
Yes, smaller part of the bank still does it, but the next step, to go international with the very steady steps towards, and bringing the message that the traditional bank can be, open and break those barriers between online businesses, which you want to serve and deserve.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Great, Edgar. Thank you. And will you be also in Sigma, Edgar?
Yes, of course, we will be there with the booth.
Very nice. First time in Sigma, right?
Yes, as a bank, first time in Sigma.
As a bank, first time in Sigma. Guys, again to say, it's no, there is no competition. Where everybody is our friends here, and we're like the United Nations. We are like the peace treaty, and I can tell you that Sigma again is next week. And probably Zoltan, if he will not be with that vaccination stuff, he would be also with Sigma, because actually Eman Police from Sigma is a good friend of everybody there who is organizing events. And I think that's very nice to see the industry get together next week. We ourselves have 3 or 4 even different panels that we're moderating, and I think it'll be fun to see all of you. So again, inviting you all next week for Monday to Thursday. That's regarding that. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Tal. Thank you, Tal.
Thank you. Great. And Eran Shomron, waiting very patiently. I know that Eran Shomron is a guy who can wait patiently forever. I'm speaking with him on Zoom, and people can hear me, and people who know me know that I have such kind of problem, that sometimes when I hear a silence, I need to fill it with words. Yeah, sometimes I hope that most of the time it's words that have sense, but and Eran is one of the best listeners ever. I never met a very good listener like Eran Shomron. So Eran, first of all, thank you for joining us.
I need to tell that to my wife.
It's not true? She will not agree with me?
I don't sure.
Probably it depends. It depends. Probably with me, you're a good listener, but I don't know. Actually, I met both of you, at the team day that we had 2 months ago. You looked like going very well together, like complementing each other. Eran, you have your own business as well. You have 2 different businesses which complement each other, right? You have the sportsing business and you have the management consulting business. Actually, I never saw you ever advertising on Facebook everywhere, but you do have very good knowledge about both management, but also about advertising and marketing. This is why you're here. And you heard several, types. Edgar spoke about doing the boutique and maybe the narrower approach, or explain how sometimes it's done like a funnel going like this. And I want to hear, Ran, your 2 cents about, how do you do this and how do you do this and what will be your suggestion after working with several small, medium, and large organizations?
So I must say that I accept with Ido, and this question is very, very important, and it doesn't have one correct answer, because internet marketing creates greater exposure for a business, even if the business is in the first days, and even if it's been around for a number of years. It's important to produce internet marketing process, but I believe in the traditional marketing. I think that it's the most accurate marketing for business, and I mean to word-to-mouth marketing. Ultimately, in order for any business to be successful, it needs customers who received amazing service and tell friends and colleagues about the experience they have been through it. And if your customers tell everyone around them how amazing your product or your service is ensured that eventually your business will be on the highway. I believe in this way. Most of our customers, our clients, came from word
of mouth.
Yes, and that's the reason that first we love our customers, our clients, and they trust us, they believe in us, and it's amazing way to work good together.
It's unbelievable. What you said is exactly, we had that discussion. I think that all of the people here, even Zoltan and Alex, Zoltan and Alex, you're probably like a boutique-ish, you don't have like marketing campaigns and, and I'm telling it like in a good way. When you land in Malta, you can see like, billboards of Sigma. When you land in Cyprus, you can see the billboard of the IFX Expo and all the Forex industry, okay? And like, people know about European gaming events and Hipster because you work hard. And you know, when you come to an event, you see that it actually is interesting. It converts. You have networking. You know, for me, I met some of our clients in the events, and for us it was great. So the end of the day, what Eran says, and I totally agree with him, that there is no better way than word of mouth. All of the people here on the panel, I can truly, we didn't touch Emily yet, but I can see the word of mouth from my experience that I've been you know, starting with you know, like Edgaras, who actually heard about us as word of mouth, and then I can tell you it's interesting because I heard about his bank because I know that like they are banking correspondent banker of other clients that we have. And it's funny because we have a client, he does like a dating website. He said, listen, it's interesting, you know, this Monobank, they are appearing in several EMIs, you know, in Lithuania that we work them. Have you heard about these guys? And it's funny because everything is like connected. It's very, very interesting. Word of mouth. Or Barnea, I don't remember how we met. We met actually, he was teaching in, actually we met, how did we met?
Long time before, I had an idea for a startup company, and I thought you were the guy that will be interested in it. And I remembered you from a decade before then, but from your music career.
Wow!
Watching your old videos on the Israeli MTV, which was called before. Yeah.
Wow!
So I remembered you.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's such a great story.
Yeah. I remember Tal, and then I said, this is the guy. I have to talk to him. I have this idea for a startup, which was a good idea, but I was long overdue.
Did not remember that. I did not remember. I just remember that we did met 15 years ago. I did not remember why.
Listen, what Eran said is absolutely true. And I would like to recommend everyone on the panel, if you didn't before, and everyone watching as well, there is a great book called Contagious. It was written by a journalist and a researcher, an American one called Jonah Berger. And it was released, I think, about a decade ago. And he did a research on how word to mouth, how we can measure word to mouth marketing.
This is measurable? This is actually measurable?
Well, we can measure, we can measure online marketing, of course, because we have the technology. But the thing that struck me the most there is what he says, and I hope it's probably true, that internet and social media ads is like the buzzword for years now. And it will continue to be for a long time, and way past our time as well. But he says that social media ads and social media trends, they only relate to 9 out of 100, 9% on how people exchange information. The other 91% is mostly people talking to each other, whether it's by phone or face-to-face or any other communication.
Absolutely.
And he went and measured how word-of-mouth advertising gets through. And it's a fascinating book. And I totally agree with Eran that there's so much to learn about how we can spread the word and not invest all of our money and all of our resources on online and digital.
Absolutely.
That's the reason that we need to invest time in networking and to meet a lot of people in seminar panels like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting, Eran, and I think that Emily, that's the next video probably that we will put next week. One second. Yeah, the next week will be on networking. Before Emily, Ido. Sorry, Emily, for the patients. You know, it's sorry, Ido was an example, and I will tell you what I saw. Ido, two ways, in two directional. I thought that I show it also to Emily and also Ido and Tomer. Every time I'm with Ido and I'm sharing anything with them on social media, of course not Ido, because Ido is under the radar. Sorry, not Tomer, but Tomer is a shy person. I get people that ask me, listen, these two guys, can you connect me to them? I heard about them. What do you think about them? These guys, you know, what's their name, etc. That's exactly the word of mouth. So actually, though, you know, in your business, you don't need even to do the advertisement, but that is a word of mouth, because if people give you a good name in your specific digital marketing industry, I think that means it all. And the funny stuff is that it goes the other ways. Is like, I was going with you in Cyprus, and we met some people that we did not know, like affiliate networks, casino operators, and you just sold us there. You said, listen, this guy is our lawyer, and you see, he's now dealing and helping us here on the laptop inside and taking care of us. And will you find any other lawyers responsive as that? And that's the word of mouth. So I would like to hear about you and in your view.
First of all, I couldn't agree more with you.
We cannot hear you. Mute, listen.
I was talking and I went back to mute. Okay, so
mute, and then Emily. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you, and thank you for the recommendation. It sounds like a fascinating book. I'm sure.
We'll buy it. Emily, remember it. We will add it to the Emily. We'll add it to the library.
Audiobook as well. You can get an audiobook as well on Audible and all platforms. So do it.
Amazing. So yeah, for my business, basically, when I need to get new clients, it's always word to mouth. When I need to get users online, that's where we relate more to our previous topic with going to the wider audience. But I think my best clients and most reliable clients came from a friend, from a recommendation, from one of my affiliates, etc., etc., etc. And that's basically the best way to get the best clients.
Okay.
In my personal opinion. So I couldn't agree more with what Tal said here.
Okay, thank you, Ido. And Emily will wrap the panel. Emily will wrap the panel. I would like to hear more from you, Emily, about the word of mouth that actually developed by Or and the team. And then here again, maybe about another, if you have another low resource idea to do online marketing that you can share. Okay.
Well, what I would like to add is that honestly, most of our best clients here at the firm, and for the long term, we have clients who have been with us for 8, 10, and 13 years here at the firm. And those clients who are, I like to say they're concrete clients, they're really the building blocks, are all word of mouth. That's the strongest thing. If you come up to a good friend of yours or family member and say, hey, I've got the best service, I've got the best lawyer, I've got the best consultant, I've got the best bank, I've got the best affiliate that I work with. These are things that are stronger than any sort of advertisement that you'll see on Facebook or on Instagram. And, I come from the digital marketing world, and I know a lot about online marketing when it comes to either Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or all these different platforms. And what I see a lot in this world now is that these platforms are based on algorithms, and when you have 100% of your marketing budget or all of your resources in what we call one basket, all of a sudden the algorithm can change, or all of a sudden something happens in the world and it sort of changes the way your marketing is working, and all of a sudden you don't have all of your leads, or you don't have you don't have the exposure that you're used to having, and it could damage your business. So it's a nice thing to have above what the other things you're doing, but word of mouth is in my opinion, it's stronger than anything. And actually a few months ago we started doing this, I don't even want to call it a campaign, but it was similar to a campaign where we put up a few different videos and the idea was to give values to our clients, to our existing clients. And what happened was we put these videos on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, and we got a lot of different approaches from clients, and we managed to convert a lot of these new clients, which was amazing. We were working with a great editor, and or helped us with the content, and it was just an amazing, it wasn't even a campaign, and it turned out to be a campaign. So these alternative ways to do marketing are really amazing, and it's all about creativity. I'm sure Iran knows, and I'm sure Or knows, and Tal for sure knows, and it's so amazing how you can find different ways and use it for your advantage. So
yeah, the funny stuff about that, I'd never believed that I would, I like the show business. I like, having fun. I like music, as you probably all know, to perform and to play.
But this was so different than anything you had ever done before.
Exactly. And actually, you came with the idea. You came, I think, 3 months after you joined. You said, listen, I come, from digital marketing. I come from the show business. I was a TV host in a regional place. I was modeling. And then you said, listen, Tal, maybe we can bring some content like with value. And then actually we approached again by word of mouth Rivital Yashinsky, she's a lawyer. And she actually, I can tell you, it was like to promote it, we didn't even promote it. It's like zero promotion. The only cost that we had was actually to produce
the
very,
production.
very good. And it was, that was a very expensive investment, but I think it's very, very good.
But it was a long-term investment. I see these videos running for years to come because they really do give value to potential clients, and it was so fun to create them.
Exactly.
So,
we enjoyed. Okay, guys, thank you, Emily. Thank you, Edgaras. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Zoltan. Thank you, Eran. Thank you, Betty. I can't see here Betty here behind you, but probably Betty is also here. Betty is also from the team. Or Barnea, Ido Hatchmon.
Thank you, guys.
Every of you guys, I really, really enjoyed. I hope that we will meet face to face again, only with the vaccinated people. Sorry. But hopefully, everybody, this corona will be over soon. And we wish everybody here in this amazing day. I already saw like the panel beforehand, which was really, really cool. I'm sure that I will speak with Janina somewhere when I'll meet her face to face, because really, really cool stuff. And see you soon, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tal.
Thank
you very
you.
much, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
It's been quite an amazing day. But in the same moment that we're closing the day on Picante Marketing Summit, we have to let everybody know that this only means that we're starting the preparations for the gaming and gambling related panels that will kickstart tomorrow with European Gaming Quarterly Meetup, and on Friday with the Gaming Americas Quarterly Meetups. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.